that want to hear somebody who is as much responsible for the medicinal cannabis movement as anybody. So if people could just take their seats, if there are a few people that feel they have to leave right now, if you could put your roller skates on and do that. I realize it's been a long day, and after the presentation here, there's a film in the same room. I think that nobody will go away saying that they didn't get enough information about medicinal cannabis. The person that we're going to honor tonight is Dr. Todd Mikuriya. And I've been fortunate enough to know Todd since 1968. I had a great job in San Francisco giving money away for the federal government. I can't tell you how popular I was. And Todd at that time was one of the few people in the world who had read all 8 volumes and 3,400 pages of the India Hemp Commission report. And he, long before that, had been a champion of medicinal cannabis. Todd has been, I think, outraged intellectually and politically for at least 37 years. And maybe he'll tell you how much longer it was than that. I will share one thing that I thought was kind of humorous. Todd, by the way, was very nice to me when I was there. I was kind of a young whippersnapper. He lived in this beautiful place up in the hills in Berkeley. And one time I went up there to visit Todd, and he was getting ready for Halloween. And I leave you to your imagination as to what Todd's Halloween costume was for just a second, and then I'll tell you. He had this long pink thing with a rounded top to it, and it had a hole in it, and he had a bottle of whipped cream, and he said, "This actually works here, and it's anatomically correct too." Anyway, hopefully your imaginations are now working overtime. At any rate, we're very fortunate here in Santa Barbara to have an extremely active chapter of Norml out at UCSB. And the fact that we got in this room with the speed that we did, the fact that the things that have to do with the administration outside are organized, have a lot to do with the cooperation that we've had from the kids at UCSB. So I'd like to call up the folks from UCSB. I hope they're around here somewhere. Ethan and Dan and Brendan. Are you around here somewhere, guys? Okay. And I know they're a little bit miffed at me because they said, wait, we got to talk to you. We got to talk to you. I said, no, I want to hear Joan. I believe that these guys don't need to talk to me to know the right thing to say because of all that UCSB Norml has accomplished. And I'm going to turn it over to these 3 fellas and have them read what's on the plaque and say whatever else it is that they want to say about Dr. Mikuriya and about what college students are doing today in terms of cannabis reform. Gentlemen?
Dr. Mikuriya's name came to us with the highest of accolades from Dr. Behrman, and upon researching his accomplishments, we knew we had found a man truly worthy of our reverence within the movement. This plaque is in recognition of a lifetime of work, courage, and fortitude in fighting the insane drug laws of our time, and almost single-handedly reintroducing the medicinal application of cannabis to over 2 generations of physicians. We honor you for your devotion to the bedrock human principles of reason, common sense, scientific objectivity, and freedom. Your determination in fighting small-minded government bureaucrats to bring the truth about medicinal cannabis to the American people and the scientific community is an inspiration to ours and future generations. We salute you in your tireless efforts to practice compassionate, humanistic medicine based on science, observation, and the historical record. We therefore present this award with the greatest of respect and admiration from Norml at UCSB. Thank you.
Wow. Wow. Thank you so much. I'm frankly amazed. I had really taken for granted being taken for granted. And all of a sudden I find myself the subject of these memorializing send-ups on the occasion of my possible termination of my career. I owe all of this to actually Dr. W.B. O'Shaughnessy. Dr. O'Shaughnessy introduced cannabis to Western medicine. He provided us with a couple things. First, clinical, scientific, medical study of cannabis in a Western medical framework. He also provided us with open-mindedness and a willingness to consult with others and listen. He went to visit with the dissipated and the depraved in various cannabis shops, in addition to trying cannabis on animals of different species, healthy humans, probably of the medical student genus, and finally of different medications, of different illnesses. Pain, arthritic pain, seizure disorders, depression. He described in one of his citations the first treatment of chronic severe depression. And even though it came from a different culture, the Persian medical system provided a clinical framework that we all assume today. So much of that, unfortunately, has been taken from us by non-medical forces that have insinuated themselves into the practice of medicine in most ungodly and unholy ways. We see victims around us here today that should not be the victims of this kind of malice. Sitting right out here in the first row are two poster children that are examples of what evil and maliciousness, non-medical stipulative reality can perform. They have forbidden Dr. Molly Fry and her husband, Dale Schaefer, attorney, from having appropriate medication for the treatment of their conditions, and have expressly and specifically prevented them from getting the right medication and being obliged and forced to take medication that is both sickening and really diminishes their ability to mount a defense. This kind of Kafkaesque treatment is unfortunately not limited to them. Another patient of mine, Robert Schmidt, Genesis 4:29, he was prevented from using cannabis or Marinol by the same non-medical evil schmucks in the federal prosecutory system in the so-called pre-sentencing program, where they poisoned him with Effexor, causing serious cardiac complications as well as gross edema and inability to focus or concentrate or mount a credible defense. But this is the evil and dirty kind of thing that these scoundrels continue to practice. What gives them the right to make these medical decisions? Where did they get this prosecutorial and judicial hubris? Who can you complain to when they commit these ugly acts? Nobody, because they have insinuated themselves and stuck us with their brand of malpractice. And they continue to do this. We have the DEA, this laughable collection of police, taking upon themselves making medical decisions and medical judgment calls. Where did they get qualified for that? I beg your pardon. We went to medical school, we learned pharmacology, we learned clinical medicine. They didn't. Maybe they took a couple of courses. Did they have any physicians working for them? No. But yet, they create these toxic policies and force all of us to wear hair shirts. Well, that is pretty fucking stupid. As I am accorded the privilege of being able to mouth off with less fear of reprisal, it gives me a little bit of freedom. And this is one of the things I'm going to say, that we should work with all our might to return the rule of law, because they're the ones that have stolen it. They're the ones that have suborned it. Have you ever heard of the Hatch Act? Good. The Hatch Act precludes any federal interference with any state election. And these evil, malicious criminals under color of authority continue to do this. From before Prop 215 passed, they were busy jawboning the California Medical Association and stealing our votes. We voted in the House of Delegates to neither support nor oppose. But what do you think they did? General Half-Track got to the California Medical Association opposing 215 and paying for cutting of PSAs by former Surgeon General Everett Koop. Stole our votes, took away our governance. And that was just the beginning of the Hatch Act crime wave that we're suffering from today. Molly and Dale are just the most latest and obvious victim of this stimulative reality viciousness. But all along the edges, they are trying to do what they can, thwarted by a court injunction. What do you think they did? Do you think they abided by it? No. They went and ratted us out to the medical board. It used to be that the DEA was somewhat bashful and hid in the background and just supplied undercover agents to infiltrate clinics like mine. But they've really become emboldened. As the snake rots from the head on down, they are the local expressions of corruption. They now are making joint visits, the DEA agents and the medical board investigators. How do you like that for vertical integration? Not only are they integrated with the AG's office, but now they're integrated with the DEA and going up the federal chain. If you want to read what the feds have in mind for us, read all the correspondence that is involved with what they plan to do to roll back Prop 215, the Compassionate Use Act of California. And they continue to work at it. So don't forget that. And don't forget, there are just a few physicians here that are not intimidated by this grand push to not let it happen. This is 10 years after it passed, but they see nothing wrong with this continuing effort to suborn and oppose and negate the will of the California voters. Of course, we're going to win. We've won already, but now we have to really enforce this victory by taking them out systematically with appropriate civil suits. Instead of relying on criminal defense attorneys, we need to move forward and to not let this happen, because they are still standing in the way of our having safe and affordable cannabis as specified by the Compassionate Use Act of 1996. I'm proud that I'm the author of the Any Other Condition provision. And so, you people up in Oregon and the other states, too bad. You listen to all the focus groups and make these short lists, and then see what happens downstream. Nurse Ed Glick, he can tell us, with all the frustration and the humiliation that they put the Oregon cannabis users through. So please, do not think the fight's over. Do not give it up. Thank you so much.
Okay, well, I not only want to thank Todd, but I want to thank the UCSB Norml. I think the range that we have up here of people from college and from to Todd, who is older than I am, that's all I can say. And I just want to say this about Todd, it's really nice to see that he's mellowed. And the last thing I want to touch on, I don't, you guys want to say a word or two about what's going on at UCSB, or how you think college should? I'll give you a minute to, before I close it up.
At UCSB, we meet weekly and we organize local events as well as work on more regional or national things. Our last event was a joint rolling contest in Isla Vista. And we brought out approximately 500 people to, come out and say that they support change in cannabis laws, and that, people were willing to come out to these events and really enjoy them. But we're also working in Santa Barbara on an initiative to make adult marijuana crimes the lowest police priority. That's Sensible Santa Barbara. And a lot of students from UCSB, Norml, and students at City College volunteer on that campaign, so that's very helpful. And yes, if you live in Santa Barbara City, make sure you sign our petition. And we need more, many thousand more. So. What do you have now? 4,000? Approximately. 10,000? About. 15? Towards around there. But is there anything else you can think of on campus? Oh yeah, tell them what you're doing.
Yeah. I'm starting a political party on campus at UCSB called the Cannabis Coalition, and our goal is to get UCSB and the other UCs to urge the state to tax and regulate cannabis just from a scientific perspective. And I think that's one approach that hasn't really been pushed too hard. And Mickey's doing it already. I want to give her a hand, and I want the schools to say science says tax and regulate.
Okay, and the last thing I want to say on a serious note is I know that Dr. Sterner has filed a civil rights suit against the medical board in federal court, and I can tell you that there will be an announcement very shortly about another civil suit in federal court against the medical board. I'll be talking about that at the Norml conference and probably making an announcement shortly before that. I think that we have had today incredible examples of courage of all kinds and from all types of people. And I think the most important thing for us to do as American citizens is to live up to American principles and to attack the un-American values that we see represented by the people who are occupying the seats of power today. If the American dream is to be preserved, it will have to be preserved by us. Thank you very much for coming. Don't forget there's a great documentary, Waiting to Inhale, right after I get down and shut up. And the benefit is later this evening. By the way, we're going to have some non-food tables. We ran out of the guaranteed food, but anybody that wants to come and listen to the program, we'd love to have you. Thanks again.
Good.